Okay, all the giggling has to stop now. Guilty, guilty. Good morning, and welcome to worship with the Unitarian Universalist Church of Ventura. I am the Reverend Dana Warsna, minister of this value-centered community of commitment and connection and occasional flights of whimsy. We gathered to keep love at the center of the way at the center of our lives and the way we move in the world. It is so good to see everyone here all together this morning after what's been a pretty harrowing week, hasn't it been? Yeah, good to be together. And no matter how you got here and into this sanctuary, on foot, on wheels, on Zoom or YouTube, we are glad that you have joined us. We are a community of many beliefs, identities, origins, sexualities, and genders, and all are welcome. We preface our services by acknowledging that this building, our building, rests on the unceded ancestral homelands of the Chumash peoples. And so we pause and remember we live on ground that is sacred, ground that cries out for justice and for responsible stewardship. And in so remembering, may we find the courage to do our part to restore wholeness to the earth and all her peoples. A few short announcements. The Health and Safety Ministry team is holding a meeting here in the sanctuary after church at 11:30. They've been working mostly behind the scenes for actual years now and have much to let us know about their work at helping this be a safer congregation. Registration is also open for the UU Women's Retreat up at Camp de Benneville Pines, which is May 2nd through 4th. You can register soon. The registration is open you can register at uucamp.org. This camp fills up quickly, and Rena Pizzuto will have a sign-up sheet after the service under the Connecting Center sign. So go ask your questions about that there if you have any. And on Wednesday of this week, our newest social action team, Immigrant Love, love that name. Immigrant Love is hosting a panel discussion on immigration issues here in the sanctuary at what p.m.? I believe 6. I'm sorry, did not. I don't know. It might be in Berg Hall. I'm not sure. It'll be at the church. Come. It's going to be very good. And we're inviting multiple congregations to it. They're all organizing in anticipation of a new national administration. And I don't know what will be asked of us. And if you are new to this community and you want to know a little bit more about it, please come to the next New to UU session after church next Sunday. And lastly, on January 25th, on Saturday, January 25th, there will be a day of mindfulness with the Venerable Kusala, Buddhist monk. And Jean Bramer will be at the Connecting Center again over in Berg Hall to answer any questions and with a sign up right after the service. So if you have questions, go to the Connecting Center and then come back for the Health and Safety Ministry team's presentation. Together, we can create, express, and radiate love out into the world with awareness of such power and such possibility. Let us enter sacred space.
I am Worship Associate Maureen Daley. We invite those who are Zooming or streaming into this service to light a chalice or candle at home as Reverend Dana lights the chalice of our free faith here in our sanctuary. We begin our service with these words from Reverend Elizabeth Mount. From our very first breath, we reach out. Co-regulation, not self-regulation, is in our nature. We find our cues from the sun and the moon. From each parent and caregiver, we find our place in this great turning planet. By turning to one another, generation to generation, we awaken to the dawn and fall asleep at the evening's end. Our life's journey is part of something greater, something simple, something divine. A flame cannot be lit without a spark. A life cannot begin without air. And we cannot begin to find ourselves without love. May we reach out to one another. May we offer love and nurturing care. May we join together in celebration of the interdependence of our lives. In this spirit, let us worship together.
Well, good morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Zach Spencer, filling in for Carolyn Bierke, your music director. I invite you all to rise in spirit or in body as you see fit, as we sing together, If Every Woman in the World. It's number 1026 in the Blue Book. If every woman in the world had your mind set on freedom, if every woman in the world dreamed a sweet dream of peace, if every woman of every nation, young and old, each generation, held her hands out in the name of love, there would be no more war. If every man in the world had his mind set on freedom, if every brother stood with brother as a witness of peace, if every man of every nation, young and old, each generation, held his hands out in the name of love, there would be no more war. If every leader in the world shared a vision of freedom, if every leader in the world shared a sweet dream of peace, if every leader of every nation worked for justice and liberation, holding hands out in the name of love, there would be no more war. If every nation in the world set a true course of freedom, if every nation in the world in the culture of peace, if all our sons and all our daughters reached in friendship across the waters, refusing to be enemies, there would be no more war.
When pigs fly is a somewhat sarcastic idiom meaning an event is so unlikely it will never occur. A kid might say, I'm going to wake up early tomorrow and pick up my room. And a frustrated parent might respond, "I'll believe that when pigs fly." Now, I intend to throw no shade here, either on kids or parents. I was that kid who now loves my very well-ordered home. So all is not lost. And sometimes maybe pigs fly, I don't know. In Italy, they have a similar idiom, except that it's the donkey who will never fly. In French, people say, when chickens have teeth. And in Hungarian, it's apparently when the red snow falls. For Unitarian Universalists, the flying pig is taking on a new meaning. We have recently re-articulated the values of our faith tradition. Rather than a list of 7 principles, we have a pinwheel of 6 values, all circling around love at the center. I don't know, this one, we have all kinds of images of it growing up. This one either looks like flowers or maybe flames circling around love. And it's always in rainbow colors. This new articulation is, among other things, deliberately non-hierarchical. The 7 principles, which was the most recent articulation and was adopted in 1985, arose after many years of discussion. Though we were supposed to revisit our principles every 15 years, it had been nearly 40 since we had. And because the values all circle around the beating heart of love, there was no way to put them in permanent order. None of them, pluralism, justice, transformation, interdependence, generosity, or equity, could be listed as first, and certainly none could be called last. So some folks started casting about for an easy way to remember them. And now the acronym JETPIG seems to be sticking. And if you just think of a jet pig, you can name them all. Justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, generosity, jet pig. And look at what I have here. It's a pig. I literally, a colleague found one of these on Amazon, and I got one of the last 3. It's a pig wearing a jetpack. Some people have jumped right on the jet pig bandwagon, and others think it's just too silly, not serious enough for such serious values. And I actually land somewhere in the middle. And I will tell you this now as the minister of this congregation. No one should ever say it out loud when talking about what it means to be a UU, particularly to somebody who doesn't know. Oh, we believe in JetPig. I would run the other direction really fast. Yet you can keep it in your pocket, ready for when someone asks you about this religious community and why it matters to you and what we believe and how we live. And you could say something like, we gathered as a community to keep love at the center of our lives and in the world. We value justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, generosity. And we do our best together to live those values with integrity. That's a really good, it's a pithy little elevator speech. And if you need to, you can literally stick your hands in your pockets or, put your fingers out and go, because, you know, I don't know that they're ever going to stick. Exactly. Or, you can get and wear a t-shirt like this one. Love, equity, justice, pluralism, generosity, interdependence, transformation, Unitarian Universalism. And it's in this nice sort of pyramid, isn't it? Yeah. Rainbow colors. Love is at the top in red. I can tell you where to get these online. And after sharing our values, you can just add that we work for a peaceful, just world of kindness where all people flourish and love is our guiding light. Will that ever come to be? Perhaps not till pigs fly, but that won't stop us. That won't stop us. And now I hand to you our Director of Family Ministry, Lily Rappaport, who has a story about pigs flying. Yep.
Good morning. My name is Lily Rappaport, the Director of Family Ministry. And now is the time that we're going to call all those young or young at heart to come up front and join us for the story. Do you mind if I pass that around? Oh, no, go ahead. So, you might all know the story of Orville and Wilbur Wright, the brothers who made history with the first successful power-driven airplane flight on December 17, 1903, at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Their remarkable achievement, soaring through the air for 12 seconds, inspired countless dreamers to reach for the skies. Today's story takes a whimsical twist on their legacy, reimagining it into a delightful tale of two pigs who dreamed of flying. Might Pigs Fly was written by Steve Heron, and it's about Orswill and Will Bohr, the Might brothers. They are inventors, pigs on a mission who believe pigs can fly. And despite skepticism and discouraging remarks from the other animals, they persist in building their flying machine and flying. You know, it's a nice story with a happy ending, but something was lacking. Some Unitarian Universalist values. So I used my computer to seek the help from modern technology, artificial intelligence, and I prompted my AI assistant called Microsoft Copilot. Mm-hmm. And I asked Copilot to make this story, give it a creative makeover by incorporating the following values: justice, equity, if you know them, say it along, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. And of course, with love at the center. After working with my Copilot, this is the story that we created, as well as the images. Might Pigs Fly? Once upon a time, on a farm full of dreams, lived two inventive pigs named Orswill and Will Bohr. They were not ordinary pigs. They were visionaries who believed in the impossible. Their unique dream was to build a flying machine and to fly. Orswill and Will Bohr knew that their dream was not just about flying. It was about justice and equity and transformation. It was a symbol of hope and progress for everyone to be able to fly, whether or not you were born with wings or not. The farm was a vibrant place with animals from all walks of life. This diversity brought in a wealth of ideas and perspectives and skills. This pluralism was a strength that Orswill and Will Bohr embraced wholeheartedly. They asked their animal friends for help. The ducks shared their knowledge of aerodynamics. The beavers contributed their engineering expertise. The chickens offered feathers for better flight. The sheep contributed wool for insulation, gets cold up there. And the cows helped with heavy lifting and construction. And the horses helped carry bales of hay for the landing. The animals experienced a profound sense of interdependence as they worked together, and the spirit of generosity filled the farm. Every animal contributed what they could. The farm buzzed with activities, with everyone pitching in for the project. And finally, the big day arrived. All the animals gathered to watch as Orse Will and Will Bohr climbed into their invention, the piggy hawk. And with a final push from the cow, the machine lifted off the ground, soaring in the sky for a brief but unforgettable 12 seconds, and the transformation was complete. They had turned their dream into reality. Orse Will's and Will Bohr's flight became a symbol of what was possible, that dreams can come true, especially when built on a foundation of justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, generosity, and interdependence. And at the heart of it all is love. The love for their dream, the love for their friends, the love that bounds from their farm community together. It was this love that fueled their determination and made the incredible achievement possible. And from that day on, whenever the animals looked up at the sky, they remember that special moment when pigs reached the sky and beyond.
Okay, give me my pig.
And now we're going to stand in the middle aisle here, create a bridge of love, and we're going to sing the children out to their classrooms.
We hold you in our love as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life, we hold you in our arms as you go.
So there are all kinds of different images of love at the center and the values circling around. This is an atom. Each Sunday, this congregation gives away our collection to an organization in our larger community or to funds that help people in our own church. And those of you who are at home have two ways to give. You can click on the link that will be posted in the Zoom chat, or you can text assist from your phone to the number that is on the screen. Those present can also text to give, or you can still write a check or give cash and put it at the box on the back of the sanctuary after the service. Our offering today goes to the Unitarian Universalist Association's Disaster Relief Fund, which will support congregations among our congregations who are in harm's way. And today, this week and beyond, that means our close neighbors in Los Angeles, many of whom have lost so much in the devastating fires, ones that are still burning and new ones, it seems, that are arising most every day. The closest to the devastation are in Pasadena and Santa Monica, though congregations in La Crescenta, LA proper, Studio City, Rancho Palos Verdes are all also affected. We, this congregation, received help from the UUA's Disaster Relief Fund after the Thomas Fire. It feels so good to be able to pay it back and pay it forward. The grants are used to help individuals and churches that are affected, and also we are encouraged to use this money to help contribute to community-wide funds that crop up after such disasters. And by doing that, we deepen our connections with our communities. What they can do is limited by how much, only by how much Unitarian Universalists donate, thus embodying our values in concrete action. Thank you for giving generously, especially in these times when climate change is making natural disasters both more frequent and more destructive. We need one another all the more. Okay, hold on. No, we're not there yet. No worries. We are grateful for the generosity of this congregation, which weaves a tapestry of love amongst all gathered here, out into the larger community and with our Unitarian Universalist neighbors here and so far beyond. A tapestry of love that we call community. Thank you. The Reverend Dick Weston, Minister Emeritus of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Ventura, died a week ago with his daughter Elise at his side. He had lived a full 90 years on this planet. Reverend Dick served this congregation from 1991 to 2000. And he returned to Ventura about a year ago, and I was so grateful for the few months that he was still well enough to attend services with his particular gusto. In the 90s, Reverend Dick had begun leading Alaskan summer tours and at least one to Baja to whale watch. And extra funds from those trips were used to help renovate the play space for our children when the church was in the Terry House up on the hill. And one of his other legacies at UU Ventura is the whale's tail bench in the corner of our parking lot. Reverend Dick's daughter Elise and grandson Weston are both here with us today. And in honor and remembrance of your father and grandfather and of the minister emeritus of this congregation, we light our chalice, our memorial candle from the chalice flame, and then we'll extinguish the chalice for some moments of silent reflection, and then the chalice flame will be relighted, and both will be extinguished at the end of this service.
Now is the time in the service when we hold up the great joys and sorrows that grace our lives. We place stones in water for both the celebrations and sorrows in our hearts, making ripples that are felt throughout our community. You can submit a joy or sorrow for sharing via a link on the website, uuventura.org, or in our Thursday email bulletin, UUCV This Week. Those received by 8 o'clock on Saturday night will normally be shared that Sunday. I invite you now to speak into the gathered community or write into the Zoom chat the names of those you wish to celebrate, memorialize, or bring into the loving embrace of this beloved community. Reverend Dana will now place one final stone in the water for all the joys and sorrows just shared and those yet unspoken in the silent sanctuary of our hearts. May we be truly grateful for all that is our life.
Please remain seated as we sing our meditation hymn, number 155, Circle Around for Freedom. We'll be singing through this 3 times. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children, keep the circle whole, circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children, keep the circle whole, circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children, keep the circle whole.
I composed our reading this morning with words and phrases from the UUA's newly articulated Values and Covenant. Each time we gather as a people of faith, here in this sanctuary, throughout our building, online, in our homes, in the fresh air on long hikes, in our larger Ventura community. Each time we gather, we live out a long heritage of freedom, reason, hope, and courage, all built on a foundation of love.
Love guides us with humility toward reverence for the great web of life and our place in it, celebrating that we are all sacred beings dedicated to learning from each other, curiosity, and respect.
Love companions our tradition and each of us on a journey of discovery, ever adapting to a changing world, open to transformation as the Spirit calls us, never complete, never perfect.
Love calls us to seek human thriving for all, within our hearts, our communities, and in the whole of our society, seeking to dismantle deeply seated oppressions.
Love inspires a spirit of gratitude and hope as we compassionately share our presence, faith, resources toward deeper relationships of interdependence and mutuality.
Love always reminds us that every person is inherently worthy, deserving of flourishing with dignity and compassion.
Each time we gather as a people of faith can be a movement toward co-creating a more just world of greater kindness, abundance, possibility, and love.
So let us keep love at the center.
I invite you now into a time of meditation. Close your eyes if you wish. Place your feet on the floor if you're comfortable doing so. And breathe. Focus your breathing, if you can, on your heart, the center of your chest, the center of your being. And breathe into your heart. How do you keep love at the center of your life? A silent meditation.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, love will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can help me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, love will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Right here and now, I know it's done, that the life I've dreamed of's finally begun. 'Cause sure as the sun shines down on me, I'm the one to set myself free. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, love will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and now.
It was a big deal 6 months ago when we re-articulated our faith in a whole new way. And rather than a list of principles, we lead now with the values underlying those principles. And those values are visually expressed intentionally as a wheel circling around love at the center of it all. This is actually the third expression of our values since the Unitarians and Universalists consolidated to become UU in 1961. We call ourselves a living tradition, and our bylaws say that we should review our faith statement every 15 years, and we were overdue. The world has changed over the last 40 years, and in the last 10, perhaps most dramatically of all. Getting to where we are now with a final statement took about 4 years formally, though it was in the works far longer than that. An illustration of the process comes in how we came to transformation as one of our values. Rather fitting. You see, in the first iteration, it was named as evolution. And I adored that. We have deeply held core values and principles that we do our best to live by. Yet we are also a living tradition. In practice, we are a people willing to change our ideas and beliefs with new information and when new understandings arise. We evolve as a faith. Evolution, perfect. Yet somewhere in the conversation, someone, or likely someones, pointed out that evolution connotes most immediately a scientific theory more than a spiritual value. Casting about for other ways to name this value, transformation arose, which is broader and deeper and, well, more spiritual. I do think we could have stuck with evolution, though I am perfectly happy with transformation. My own maxim for my ministry in this faith has been transforming lives that transform the world. And listen to the language expanding on what we mean by transformation. This is the language that is in the bylaws article about our values and covenant. Transformation. We adapt to the changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritages. Never complete, never perfect. Not complete, and thank God, never perfect. Just always growing, learning, changing, evolving, transforming. That one makes me very happy. Now, the first statement of our principles in 1961 was a numbered list of 6. And here is number 6. To encourage cooperation with men of good will in every land. You can see why it needed some revising. And we had an utterly magnificent process in the 70s and 80s, prompted largely by the influence of increasing numbers of women in the ministry. Our 7 principles were developed with much more gender-neutral language and much more embracing in so many ways. It was still in a list, this time without numbers. And they were so good that they served us for 40 years, though they too were growing a bit outdated. Listen again to another one, also the 6th of the 7 of these principles, which stated that we affirmed the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. In today's world, 40 years later, that lands to me simultaneously as quaintly idealistic and a little like the Star Trek fantasy with Earth as a united world and member of the United Federation of Planets. And don't get me started on how our Canadian siblings talk about how just gall darn American that sounds. Even a little like Superman. So, peace, liberty, and justice for all. And in Canada, their motto is peace, order, and good government. Pretty different. Useful. So now we have a pinwheel of statements of our values. And there can be no hierarchy because they're spinning around a core inspirations at the center point, love. We have become known as the love people by our tagline, we side with love. Yet nowhere in our statement of principles from the 1985 did the word love appear. So we got to work. And if this new statement pleased everyone, we would have failed to create an inspiring document. And blessedly, I have heard from folks about parts that some of you don't like. Some folks have told me that pluralism really isn't a spiritual value either. And I agree that it's neither particularly poetic or inspiring in a certain kind of way. And yet lately, I am noting an uncanny number of people, commentators and Barack Obama, people I respect, talking about how we need to return to the pluralism of e pluribus unum, out of many, one, suggesting that returning to the civic value of pluralism might carry us beyond the divisiveness of our times. And I would apologize again to the Canadians for this very American value, except the Canadians are way ahead of us on this one. We use the metaphor of a melting pot, which has significantly racist origins, but Canadians talk about their diversity as a mosaic, each person a distinct tile with distinct beauty, yet creating a beautiful country together, not melting differences into a mushy stew. And listen also then to the description of pluralism. We celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. I want to be part of that church and that world. I really do. As much and as much as I love Star Trek, this actually seems more achievable. And in the writing of this, I realized that transformation and pluralism are currently my faves. though I just will share with you the language of two more. Interdependence. We honor the interdependent web of all existence. With reverence for the great web of life and with humility, we acknowledge our place in it. We covenant to protect Earth and all beings from exploitation. We will create and nurture sustainable relationships of care and respect, mutuality and justice. We will work to repair harm and damaged relationships. And equity. We declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. We covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. We have now replaced 7 pithy and poetic principles with 6 spiraling values that each get a whole paragraph to explain them. So yes, a possibly silly acronym can help us remember them, though I prefer to call it whimsical. And a little whimsy makes the often so serious world a little easier to live in. As with all of this sort of thing, focus first on what resonates most with you. But I promise you, we will never replace the chalice as symbol of this faith with a jet pig. But let this little flying pig help you remember those core values. We will never be complete. This faith calls us on and on. We will never be perfect. The world will never be perfect. But can the world be a place where more and more people thrive? Where we repair damaged relationships? Where more people move with humility and reverence upon the earth? Where we build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities, where we know that every person is worthy and has the right to flourish, where we pivot and turn, dip and sway, ever adapting to a changing world. When will all of this come to pass? Perhaps not until pigs fly. But that doesn't mean we ever give up on the pieces and parts of this vision that we can achieve in times and places and communities. Because our pigs don't just fly, they soar through the air with jet propulsion. Amen. May it be so. I invite you to join me in prayer. Holy beingness of many names and no name, animating love, spirit of life which dwells within and among and beyond us this day and always. May we hold in our hearts all those who have lost homes and whole communities and so much memory and life and belonging to the fires burning so close to us. May we hold them in our hearts, knowing that community will return and they will find out of these ashes, transformation will arise. But golly, let us hold them tenderly now. There is so much uncertainty ahead. May we hold each other in community, knowing that our presence matters. and with an awareness of our values and how we live them in our hearts and out loud in the world. And may all those who are ill find healing. May those who are without shelter find home again. May those who are suffering conflict and war throughout the world, may we all know peace. Amen. And blessed be.
And now you're all invited to rise in body and spirit and join each other in singing number 131, Love Will Guide Us. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak it for thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, steps have tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Please join me in reading the words on the screen as we prepare to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. Those we carry into our lives until we are together again.
So all here in the sanctuary today are invited after the service for coffee, tea, bagels, and conversation in our community room, Berg Hall, which is through these two sets of doors. You can drop by the big round connecting center table with a sign overhead to visit with friendly folk, and also learn more about the Day of Mindfulness and the Women's Retreat at Camp de Benneville Pines. And then come back into the sanctuary at 11:30 or so for the Health and Safety Ministry team report. And also those of you on Zoom, we will be Zooming that gathering as well. You can put cash or checks in the offering box at the back of the service. And I do hope the people will stay for coffee hour. There's also a program for about our Whole Lives program that'll be in the garage after the service. Many things going on. Find your place and join in this community. I offer you these words of benediction. May love radiate from the core of your being. May it call you to work for a world that is just and fair. May it create a world where all are cherished. May it transform you, that you may transform the world. May it spark in you curiosity about all of life. May it embrace you as kindred with all the earth. May it move you to share the gift of your very presence. And with it all, go forth in peace. Go forth in love. Let love guide you. May it be so.